Hello there, it's me, your boy, coming at you again with another YouTube video. That's 2 in a week. Crazy. Now that the SPL is back up and running, I'm back to mooching off the content. I think my cam's a little high. Whatever, who cares? I've clearly prepped well for this. What's up? Happy Wednesday. Hope you're all doing good. I'm here to talk today a little bit about the big Nerfening 9.4, I think the patch is called, that came out on Tuesday, and how that patch and all its changes affect the SPL. I'm not going to go through everything in the... I'm not even going to go through most of the things in the patch notes. If you want to read the patch notes, go read them. They're long. There are a lot of nerfs to a lot of gods and a lot of items, mostly items, I guess. And I'm just going to talk about the ones which I think are important and how they're going to affect the state of competitive play. So I was planning on recording this before, and I always had planned. I was like, nobody's talking about this DR change, and I get to be the one to be like, oh, this is actually kind of a big deal. But then Twitter blew up last night / today with Sata Dragon's post. I'll link that down in the description of some incorrect and misleading information on the DR change, and also with literally the most extreme case you could possibly find. So I don't get to be the one who overreacts and is the brain that said, look, this matters. Because people are like, revert it, it's too big, which I don't think is true at all. But anyway, let's talk about what's diminishing returns. Diminishing returns essentially means the more you get CC'd, the less, or the more times you get CC'd, the less time you get CC'd for. So you start with no stacks of DR, and for every stack of DR you have, so every time you're hit by one CC ability, so Humbat's ult, for example, only applies one stack, it doesn't apply two. The next CC you're hit by will be reduced. It used to be reduced by a third of the duration, so a 1 second stun would go down to 0.66 second stun, and now it's reduced by 0.4 now, or yeah, it's reduced by 2/5. Is that the 1/5? 2/5. That's the one. Fuck, dude, don't talk about maths, Paul. So yeah, it used to be 33% reduction. That's probably the best way to phrase it. Now it's a 40% reduction. So a 1 second stun, which used to go down to 0.66 with one stack, goes down to 0.6 now with two stacks. Instead of going down to 0.33, it would go down to 0.2, but that's not actually how it works, because they go down to a minimum of, it used to be 0.5, and now it's a minimum of 0.4 seconds. The CC duration, like, minimum is. So a better example, I guess. Well, I'll go through it a little bit first. I'll talk a little bit more. So max of 2 stacks, 40% reduction in CC duration per stack. Now down to a minimum of 0.4 seconds. It used to be 0.33 reduction, or a 33% reduction per stack, down to 0.5 seconds. So half a second was the minimum CC time before, and now it's 0.4. And the timer for these DR stacks continuing to stay on you is 15 seconds. So after you've not been CC'd for 15 seconds, you go back down to having 0 stacks. Important to note that this isn't all CC. So not all CC is treated the same in terms of DR. In fact, some aren't affected by DR at all. Roots, knockups, polymorphs, grabs, banishes, pulls. There's some others as well. Did I say pushes? Pushes. I'll link the old Word of Thoth below in the description as well, which is a good resource, even though it's not been updated in a couple seasons. Hopefully Flair will update it at some point. And I had a chat with Flair about this as well, actually. Happened to come up in a Discord we're both in. But yeah, so certain CCs aren't affected by it. So those CCs, their value just went up a little. And characters who depend on CC chains or who have many abilities that DR one another, their value went down a little. The 6 most popular supports in the SPL the last 2 weeks have been Umoja, Bacchus, Khepri, Atlas, Nox, and Eset. Out of those ones, you're not too worried about Umoja, you're not too worried about Khepri. Khepri's 1, doesn't get the art, it's a set duration, and his 3's a root. Atlas has a grab. Again, you're not worried about that. Nox's CC on her root reapplies, so she's still going to be strong. Bacchus and Eset will be the most affected out of the popular supports right now. Bacchus is Intoxicate duration, actually. It's 6-second base, right? So it's one of the longer CCs in the game, 6-second Intoxicate. But right now, it's gone from, if you do full combo, so if you Bacchus flop and then burp on them and stun them, and then you Intoxicate them after those 2 abilities going off. On the last patch, that Intoxicate would have been reduced by 2/3, so would last for 2 seconds. And on this patch, it's been reduced by 4/5 at 2 stacks, so it goes down to 1.2 seconds now. So, and he's also getting nerfed, so Bacchus I would expect to fall out the meta a little bit. Intoxicate, like, it's not the most OP of CCs, obviously, but that's the kind of extreme case that will happen a lot. I think the one with, like, if you hit a 5-man Changal, it's a bit of a silly, and they happen to either have no stacks of DR on them or 2 stacks of DR on them, rather. It's a bit of a silly scenario to bring up. I think the Bacchus one's a lot better. There are exceptions to the rule of DR, even for, like, stuns and stuff like that. Some abilities don't get affected by DR. Some don't apply DR. It's weird. It's inconsistent. I don't think there's a good list of them anywhere. Like Kabrakan 1, for example, is always a 1-second stun, no matter how much DR you have on you. Herc 2 doesn't actually apply DR, despite the fact that it's like a pool, I guess. So normally things like that, knockups pools apply a stack of DR, even though they're not DR'd themselves. Herc 2 doesn't. But yeah, I think it's an interesting change. I'm not against it. I'm hoping it means that we get to see a little bit more relic diversity, with less supports getting beads. There are certain gods who I'm worried will just totally fall out of the meta. Like Horus has been doing okay recently, but he gets kind of owned by this because of his combo typically being 2 into updraft, the knock-up. I'm pretty sure now if people get 2'd, they'll have the time to, like, CC immune the knock-up with an ability. So, like, say if you stunned an Anher, I'm pretty sure he could get his ult off before your knock-up goes off. That should have been something I tested before I went into this, but I'm pretty sure that's the case now, just because of the post-fire of that ability and the reduction of the stun, maybe with one stack of DR. At base, it's going to be the same, though. But yeah. Is that all I've got on the DR stuff? I think that's it. I think that's a lot of DR. What does DR stand for? D's ruts. No, diminishing returns. Yeah. Hopefully that wasn't too rambly. In terms of the other things that have changed, let me think. So I don't know if this bug's been fixed, but there is a bug at the moment where red buff, I think, is spawning later than it should, which might affect start diversity in the SPL. We were seeing this start where rather than doing speed to red all the time, we were seeing junglers and solo laners sometimes do speed and go over to blue, and mid laners starting on the red, sharing that with the hunter, kind of the old start, which might be out if the timers have changed. I don't know if that bug will be fixed or not, or whether it'll just be fixed on the SPL client, or whether it'll have to wait until the next patch. I'm not sure. There are a lot of item changes, a lot of god changes. I sort of feel like the things that didn't get changed are going to be the important things for the meta. In terms of popular items, the ones which I'm looking at are sort of berserkers and shoguns, which lend themselves to a certain style of warrior and assassin. These auto attack based warriors and auto attack based assassins I'm expecting to continue to be popular and maybe even grow in popularity going into this week's SPL. Vamp Shroud did lose, was it 10 power, I think, or something like that as well. So solo lane Guardians taking a slight hit there. It's not too big of a deal. You know, like the auto attack scaling on Guardians is pretty low. And so is the scaling on their abilities. So losing power doesn't affect them that badly. But I don't know the numbers, and I'm not going to pretend I do. Maybe I could pretend I do. Yeah, they lost like 2 auto attack damage per auto, so I mean, it's not much. I made that up. Okay. Hunters as well, I think we'll probably see a slight shift back towards the Devos build that was already slightly popular, but with Crusher and Assy, the double flat pen option that was popular among Hunter builds, currently seeing a nerf. I'm expecting to see them go back towards Devo being probably the most popular. I don't think Transcendence saw any changes. Let me, you know what? I'll look at the notes and I'll confirm. I'll confirm. No Transcendence. Assy. Oh, Nemean got nerfed as well, so that's good for Hunters. Assy got reduced lifesteal by 5%, and I think Crusher lost 5% attack speed as well. So smallish nerfs, but enough to make a difference. Yeah. Have I covered everything? I have no idea. There's lots of nerfs. If you want to look at them all, go and read the notes. But overall, I feel like it doesn't shift the SPL meta that much, in all honesty. I think the DR change was going under the radar a little bit until everybody went insane about it and just decided to blow up on Twitter in a foolish way. No offense to Sata, but like it was a really bad way to do that, is to just like find the most extreme example and then cheat to make it more extreme. Cheat as in building CCR AMs to make the duration reduction seem like more than it is. When there are good examples out there for why it does matter. Bacchus, for example. And Horus. But yeah, I think this might require some tinkering with CC durations as we go forward. If gods like Horus like can't be played or fall totally out the picture for picks because they can't reliably do their combos anymore, maybe we'll see their CC increased or see certain abilities no longer be affected by DR or whatever else. There seems to be, it's sort of a stopgap solution in my opinion, but it is one that exists in Smite on a fair few abilities already. So can expect that to stick around. I think we could see like a good amount of Nox this week especially. I think Nox could definitely be popular. Nox, Kepri, Umoja I'm expecting to continue to be popular going forward. Those are the main 3 supports. I'm trying to think if anything else came into the meta. Neath support got buffed, obviously, with Roots not DRing. So keep that in mind, everybody, and maybe we'll finally get to see her flourish in the SPL, in the support role. She's due. It'd be nice, a nice flex for the Kings, maybe. They love her in mid, but they could flex her to support as well. Ooh. What a draft strategy that would be. Anyway, enough about why I'm no longer a coach. That's going to be it from me. Looking forward to the SPL this weekend. I won't be here Sunday. I'm going back to do something with my family. We got like a beer brewing. Me and my brother's got a beer brewing thing for Christmas, and we're doing it on Sunday. So I get the train home on Sunday morning, brew some beer. Maybe I'll chill out at home for a day, work from home on Monday. I don't know. We shall see. Cool. That is it. I've said way too many words. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great week. And I will see you on Friday. Peace.